Get things started. Alright, so today, doing something different. Start. Training. I'm going to be looking at how to get into orbit. Basically, basic construction, basic flight, intermediate construction, suborbital flight, advanced construction, go for orbit. Alright, that sounds like what we want to do. So, it's time to get things started. It's time to... I don't feel like singing. Wow, look at this monster. Before we do that... Hey, Milos! Fast indeed. Fast indeed. Let's see. If I bring up paint... and we just go with the display... Yeah, there we go. Let's make this full screen, and let's make this big. Okay, so we have our Kerbal planet. Should we go with blue or green? It doesn't matter. Let's draw a circle-ish. Okay, now we are going to take off near the equator. We'll say that this is the North Pole, so we're looking down. Wow, that's really ugly. And the planet is rotating in this direction, right? Planet spins, that's how we get daytime, nighttime. So if we try to blast off in directly this direction, we're going to start with the speed that the planet is rotating. Now on Earth, I think at the equator it's like 26,000 miles in circumference, and there's 24 hours in a day, so we could break it into 24 sections. So 26 is bigger than 24. So it's going between 900 at the surface. It's spinning at like 900 to 1,000 miles per hour, because 24 hours later it goes 26,000 miles. So when you take off, and this is, I'm using Earth as an example, but it's similar on Kerbin, even though it has a 6-hour day. The velocity that the surface is moving at compared to, a point in space above it, everything is orbital, so it gets confusing. But you're already going 1,000 miles per hour. Now on Kerbal, it's a lower number, but the principle applies. So if you try to go straight up, basically you're going to be fighting your forward momentum. And it's either going to impart that forward motion, and you're actually going to move in a not straight up direction, or you are going to move straight up and the planet's going to keep moving around this way, and in your fight to try to go straight, it's almost like you're going in the opposite direction, but you don't get any orbital velocity. When we're trying to get into orbit, using Control Z to erase, when we're trying to get into orbit, whatever, that didn't work the way I wanted. Our goal is not to get from here to here. That's only the part of the goal. In order to achieve orbit, you have to be going so fast in this direction that the gravity that's pulling you in this direction is at an equilibrium. They cancel each other out, so that if there were no gravity and you were moving in, get rid of this one, and you were moving in this direction, you would just keep going straight. But there is gravity, so it is trying to pull you, gravity's trying to pull you in this direction, and you're trying to counteract it or zero it out. You're not, because you can't cancel it. Gravity's staying there, but you can balance it so that you're going forward at the same rate you're falling. And it's weird because gravity is usually measured as an acceleration force, but it's a force. And so you don't need to keep accelerating once you reach your orbital height and velocity. You need that to remain constant, which once you cut your engines, it basically will be, more or less, assuming circular orbit. So once you get your orbital altitude and velocity, you're going to be maintaining that speed, and if you have reached that point of equilibrium, then you kind of self-explanatory. No, it's not self-explanatory. I'm just talking in circles. So but you reach that point where you're going fast enough in this direction, and it'll be perpendicular to the surface. So like if you were flying by the planet and you just happen to be going the right speed, I don't know if that could happen in the way orbital mechanics works. But if you got close enough to the planet that its gravitational force was what am I trying to say? Strong enough to get you to follow its space-time curve, then I don't know if you could. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I guess in order to get there in the first place, you'd have to be going pretty fast. But I've still got some fruit flies or bugs or whatever these are in here. I guess fruit flies are bugs. So I suppose it's theoretically possible that you could get closer to the planet. But another problem is once you get closer to it, it's going to start accelerating you. And as you reach the periapsis, that's going to be your maximum velocity. So it's unlikely that you could do that. I don't know how you would test that. Missed. But anyway, again, your goal is not to get up high enough to be in orbit. Your goal is to get your perpendicular velocity. Is that right? No, parallel velocity, parallel to the surface, perpendicular to the orbital pole. So you want to get that velocity high enough, going in the right direction, that it zeroes out or counteracts the gravitational force. So by going this direction, and once you are actually in an orbit, how would you explain this? By going this direction, as the orbit is trying to pull you this way, there's an equilibrium where your forward velocity is actually creating an outward centrifugal. That's a horrible arrow. Is creating centrifugal force which pulls you away from the planet, and if you do it right, which is the goal, then I put that in the wrong place. Should be here. Boop. It equals the horrible arrow. The force of gravity. Those should be the same length. So again, your goal is not to get to the altitude. Your goal is to get to that horizontal or parallel to the surface velocity. Ganging up on me. At a high enough altitude that the atmosphere is not going to create drag and slow you down. So hopefully that helps. So is there anything else we need from this picture? So with the planet turning, planetoid if you're on a moon, if you try to lift straight up, you're going to get some momentum from your being on the surface that's already moving. And that's why you want to take off to the east, so that you can use that. It's like if you had to put a little rocket on a baseball and you throw the baseball, you would want the rocket to be facing the same direction that the baseball is going. And so if you're on the surface of the baseball and it's not moving so much as spinning, then you want to be on, the part that's spinning forward and going in that same direction. God, I hope that makes sense. So when you take off, ideally what you would do, and this doesn't work mostly because of the atmosphere, I think, is you want to take off and go parallel with the surface. Not parallel. Yeah, parallel with the surface. Or I guess that would be more like this. And when you're doing a space plane, that's kind of what you do. But with a rocket, you want to take off. You want to start mostly vertical, if not entirely vertical, because it's more stable. Also, you want to get through the thicker part of the atmosphere quicker. Your rockets tend to have more power efficiency the thinner the atmosphere is. I think that's true of all the rocket engines. So by getting out of the thicker part, or through as much of that thick part of the atmosphere as you can, you're increasing the efficiency of your rockets, which means your fuel gets you farther and faster. Well, I guess it gets you faster, which translates into farther. So you want to start with a mostly vertical, but then once you've got a little bit of speed, you want to tip just a little bit so that you can maximize, because again, you're trying to get that horizontal velocity, horizontal to the surface. And the more you go up and not around, the more fuel you're wasting. But again, you have that fight with the drag of the atmosphere, so there's a little bit of a balancing act. So you want to tip as soon as you can without but taking the atmosphere into consideration. And then also, rockets tend to be a little top heavy, if not a lot top heavy. And then as you've got your stacks, and I've got scissors, that'll work. And as you're burning if your center of mass is here, and you're burning fuel from the bottom first, then your center of mass is going to move up as you're burning fuel. And if you are tipping over, then that center of mass is going to want to drag you down more than the lower. Well, the heavier part of your rocket is going to want to drag down harder than the lighter part of your rocket, which means you could end up tipping more than you want. For me, the problem I have with this, or I tend to have with this, is I'm afraid of tipping too soon. So that's something that I need to work on. But again, you can tip too soon because then you're fighting the atmosphere more. So keeping in mind that our goal is not to get up, but our goal is to go sideways at a fast enough speed. And we want to get that horizontal speed, that parallel to the surface speed, up to where it needs to be. And the sooner we do it, the better, except there's drag and mountains. So, all right, taking a look at the, what do we need? I'm going to get back into the tutorial. Let's see, today we tackle absolutely essential skill for space program, getting into orbit. Okay, and if you haven't done the tutorial, I recommend it. I think it covers most of it pretty well, but it's one of those things where if you get enough experience in the game, then you go back and look at the basics. They make more sense and they make broader sense. So let's see if I have anything to add here. Trust you already checked the other flight tutorials. Not in a while. Recommend you do so before doing this one. If you want to go back and try the other, press escape. Okay, so we don't want to do that. We want to go forward. All right, let's do it. Is this fan too loud? I'm kind of warm in here, but I tried to move it farther away. The plan here is to get our vessel and pilot safely into orbit. As with suborbital flight we did previously, we will follow a curved path to get to the point where we can circularize our orbit. So typically the way this will work is you'll go up and over, but you'll do it in a curve. So up and over, but then you've got to get, what's going to happen here is if you just cut your engine here, what's probably going to happen is the gravity is going to pull you back in towards the center of the planet. So once you get up to the altitude, then you really need to focus, or it tends to be, if you haven't done it already, which you haven't, as you get up into the higher atmosphere, you need to focus more on that horizontal, because you are working on getting out of the atmosphere. But then once you do, you probably still have this problem where your orbit is going to collapse because you don't have it. You'll get high enough but not fast enough. So once you get out of the atmosphere, you really need to concentrate on your parallel to the ground horizontal velocity or orbital velocity, so that instead of orbiting into the center of the planet, you can orbit around the planet. And you know, if you're not paying attention, you may end up with a huge apoapsis, or you may, like I often, end up with a high apoapsis because I didn't tilt early enough. So getting back to the point, once you get out of the atmosphere, if you haven't gotten sufficient horizontal or orbital velocity, then that's all you have left to do. And there may be a way to do it where you just nail it, and as you're leaving the atmosphere, you're already going fast enough that instead of having an orbit which orbits you into the center of the planet, it orbits you around the atmosphere. Let's see, this is gravity turn. We will follow a curved path to get to the point where we can circularize our orbit. Today's gravity turn, however, will be much shallower than the path we followed previously, so that we can build speed towards orbit. Again, the goal is orbit, not altitude. Altitude is just part of it, and it's easy to assume or overemphasize altitude. I think I do it. I think I do that, even though I should know better. This is different from how the Kerbal pilots of old did it. They would head straight up and then hang a right, as if air was soup or something. We'll be turning early and smoothly, but don't turn too far or you might be mistaken for one of those low-flying turkeys. I think that was a joke. Who could tell? As with the previous flight, we will place a target marker on the nav ball. That will be beneficial. Oh, I wonder why we're not... I wonder why our indicator here is not lined up with the 90 degrees. I think I'll restart the flight. See if maybe we've twisted while... Wow, that's 18 minutes ago? Man, I'm a blowhard. Okay, yeah, so I talked so long that we got some sort of twist going there. Skip ahead to where we were, low-flying turkey. So the previous flight, we'll get a target marker on the nav ball. I'm hoping it's the purple one. Do we have SAS here? No, we don't. I will place a target marker on the nav ball to show you the optimal velocity vector. But do note that this indicator won't be around normally. Yeah. It'd be interesting if you could add a flight planner to the game so that you could have a target marker on your nav ball during your ascent. Huh. Does anyone know if there's a mod for that? It'd be interesting. It'd be good for new players. Although that kind of crutch might make it harder to actually learn what you're doing. It's one of those things where it could help you learn to do it better, but you could end up relying on it too much. It won't be around normally and is not usually used the way this tutorial uses it. I'll also display some technical information about your path as you go to help you learn the right way to get there. For now, set your throttle to max, press Z, and prepare to launch. Thanks, Gene. You should see the marker on the nav ball. I don't see the marker on the nav ball. So you'll have something to follow, and this ship has been designed so that you don't need to worry about throttle control during the ascent. Hit space when you're ready to go for orbit. If you want Valentina, the Kerbal pilot, to fly the curve for you, then you can enable SAS and set the mode to target. Okay, so we will have SAS and we can set it to target. I think we'll use SAS, but I'm going to try not to use the target. Should be using the D key on the PC keyboard to turn left, basically. Actually, no. Should be using the W key to go down towards 90 degrees. Alright, so we may restart a few times to try to emphasize some certain points, but let's go. Alright, we've got our nav ball indicator. That's anti-target. Okay. Don't worry about your throttle, just pay attention to your target marker. Okay. Which I don't have a target marker. It's off course. Something went wrong here. You're way off. I think it's because I didn't start right away. So let's revert flight. Oh, Z for full throttle. Next. Space. See, I'm still getting the anti. Okay, there's the target marker. What's up? Oh, you're just dealing that phone?
Yeah.
Say hi, stream.
Yeah, it cracked.
It cracked. Just all on its own.
No, I dropped it.
Yeah, I'm not happy. All right, away with you before I blow up at you. That's why we can't have nice things. All right, so the target marker did show up this time. It was probably that I waited too long to launch. Let's see if it's still here. Nope, it's gone. How about if I throttle back a little bit? See, we've got solid rocket boosters too. See, and it's showing. Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's revert flight. Let's try that again. All right. Next, Z, next, space. See, I'm showing anti-target here. There's target. Looks like I need to... Oh, it's gone. What is he saying here? Oh, shucks, something went wrong. You're way off course. You need to be quick about following the instructions. If you're having trouble controlling the vessel, set it to SAS, follow target mode as I explained, and let SAS fly for you. You'll have to worry about staging once you see how it should be flown. All right. All right. Next, Z, and see if I. See if we try to go for the target, then it's way off. Yeah, let's revert to launch. I'm going to try. Well, let's take a look at what we have here for staging. All right, we've got a liquid rocket, liquid fuel rocket, and 2 solid rocket boosters. So let's go with Z, and then we'll back off a little bit. Oh, it won't let me back off a little bit. So next, now I'm going to back off a little bit on the throttle, and SAS space and target. But no, that's not going to work because this is the anti-target indicator. So for some reason, we're higher up than we should be. So let's revert the launch. So this is broken. All right, next, Z, next, SAS, launch, and I'm going to cut the throttle back and see if, there it goes. Oh, now it's gone already. Time to start pitching down. All right. So that helped. We lasted longer, but it seems like the tutorial is broken. So I don't know how to get past that. It could be a mod that I have installed that's doing it. So let's just try to ignore Gene this time. Z. Or maybe I didn't click on something up here. Now, as soon as I... There's... Yeah, I'm... Oh, I read that wrong. Alright, this time I'm just going to launch. See if I can figure it out on my own. But it's weird because usually it has it so that you're tilting to the right to go down, to go east. But here, east is down on the nav ball, which means that you need to hit W. Alright, Z. So we're just going to ignore Gene this time. Alright, I'm going to wait till we get to about 70 meters per second, and then I'm going to tilt a little bit. The target marker starts to show up a little bit. Alright, how we doing on fuel? Getting ready to separate the solid rockets. And as soon as we do, there they go. And I'm going to switch to prograde. And see if it'll tilt on its own. I might not have tilted enough, I might have tilted too much. We'll see. We're already at 700 meters per second. And, okay, that's not too bad. There's 20,000 meters, 800 meters per second. Almost time to stage. It looks like we need to double stage. Yeah, I don't... Oh, I see what they did. They want you to coast. So, we could have gone with a shallower descent, ascent, I believe. Let's try that. So full throttle. And we'll just tilt a little bit early here. Because this thing has lots of, whoa, has lots of giddy up. Alright. We'll set for prograde. Whoa, that's very bouncy. I'm not doing that. It's unstable. Probably because I tried to tilt too much too soon. We're still at full throttle. Let's see if I can straighten this out a little bit. And tilt down a little bit more. And we're already have an apoapsis that's above the atmosphere. So I'm going to cut throttle, start that engine up. Now we're above 40,000 meters, so the atmosphere, as you can see here on the atmosphere gauge, is going to be pretty thin. We're continuing to climb. If you look at our time to apoapsis, this is on Kerbal Engineer Redux, so this will not be in the base game. But you can see that our time to apoapsis is less than 2 minutes, and ideally it'll be just under 1 minute. So I'm going to cut a little shallower course. If we take a look at the map, yeah, we've got a nice parabola here. Our apoapsis is continuing to go up. We're almost out of the atmosphere. So I'm going to focus more on our horizontal velocity. We've still got a fair amount of fuel. And I'm going to throttle up. Our apoapsis is continuing to climb, which is not what we need, so I'm going to burn towards the ground a little bit more so that we are increasing our altitude over here more than over here. That's kind of the way that works. Which at the same time will reduce our apoapsis. And you're kind of playing with fire when you do that. I suppose ideally I would keep my apoapsis the same. Apoapsis being the pinnacle of our arc, the highest altitude in our orbit or path. Alright, this is staying similar. Okay, we're going to get a good periapsis here in a little bit. Halfway through our fuel. Taking a look at the map mode, you can see that our arc is widening, and now I need to tilt up a little bit. Not too much though, yeah. Our apoapsis is coming down, so I can tilt up a little bit more. We'd like it to stay the same. Or similar. There we go, and there's a positive periapsis, and we're out of the atmosphere. Oh, thanks, Gene. And he cut the engines for us automatically. I think we still had fuel left. That'd be funny if we just ran out of fuel as we got out of the atmosphere. Congratulations, you're now officially in orbit. That's quite an achievement. Hopefully you can see the difference between suborbital hop and reaching the orbit ascent. I am a little bit worried. Oh, gee, it's doing it again. My, there, let's fix this real quick. Take that off. I apologize. Milos, Jeremy, it's your boy, Skulls. So, for some reason, my chat monitor is not working again. I'm going to have to send them a strongly worded letter. Mosquitoes. Just tip right after launching. Let the rocket. Yeah, if you build it a well-balanced rocket, and I recommend getting at least up to 50 meters per second before you start your tilt. But if your rocket is fairly well balanced and you tilt early and then go to prograde, then it should be fine the rest of the way. It's really a matter of matching. And then some of the ones I build have a lot of air resistance because they'll have weird crap up at the top. But generally speaking, yeah, you want to tip kind of earlier than instinct would suggest, because again, the goal is that parallel to the ground, horizontal velocity, and getting out of the atmosphere is almost secondary. It doesn't feel that way, but it is. Theoretically, you could orbit in the atmosphere, but the resistance, the drag that you'd get from the atmosphere would slow you down, and once you lose that velocity, you start your orbit starts shrinking until you crash or burn up, because you're still going pretty fast. Hopefully you can see the difference. Yeah, we already did that. Also notice how we designed our rocket to accelerate reasonably through the ascent and didn't go straight to ludicrous speed. Overpowering the ship is a common rookie mistake. Alright, I'm gonna go... Well, let's take another look at the training scenarios and see if there's another one we want to do. Some people have said that they've been playing for a while and they still have trouble getting into orbit, so I thought I'd try to help out a little bit with some basics. But I think that's... Well, here's the Orbiting 101, so let's take a look at that too. But I don't know if it's because of the mods that I have added to the game or if there's something else going on, but we could not follow the mission plan because the target on the nav ball was not where it needed to be, so it wanted us to go in the wrong direction. And again, why is a good question. Let's see, this training scenario covers the basics of flying, and I think it's getting into orbit for most people that's the hardest part of everything. I don't know what's in other people's minds. I know some things that were hurdles for me, and focusing on that horizontal velocity as much or more than the does that show up on yours too? Yeah, the Kerbal is fuzzy back there. Huh. But yeah, let's take a look at this. I kind of lost my train of thought there. Raising and lowering apo. Okay, we'll take a look at it. If it's overly simplistic or doesn't seem like it's useful, then we can just move on. Alright, welcome to Orbiting 101 training program. Gene Kerman here. I'm assuming you've already done the basic flights. If not, go back now, right? Orbiting is literally nothing more than free falling. The only thing is, as you fall, you're moving so fast forward that you actually miss the ground. That's a kind of good way to do that. How to rescue ship from Eve. Oh, wow. I've never actually landed on Eve, so I'm probably not the best to be offering advice. Because with Eve, I know you've got... I believe the gravity is stronger than Kerbin, and the atmosphere is thicker as well. So, and there's no oxygen, so you can't use jet engines. and you need more fuel to push you higher and faster, and you also have more drag in the atmosphere. So with Eve just lifting off, you've got to focus more on your vertical ascent than your horizontal, just to overcome the drag of the atmosphere. Yeah, if you want to play fair, then yeah, that's a problem. I know there's, I don't remember which key it is. Temperature overlay, gauges. I know there's something you can do to access the cheat menu so that you can turn on infinite fuel and infinite electricity. So if you're desperate, you can do that. But yeah, half of the fun is overcoming the engineering challenges. Man, we got 3 guys up here. And then, so, to rescue a ship from Eve. Yeah, and if it's from orbit, that's one thing. And if you don't have access to the mining and fuel creation, then that's an additional problem. If you do have the ISRW or whatever it's called, and the drill, then you can land on Ike, which has gravity similar to the moon, and then you can mine fuel there. So that can help you get home once you get off the planet. Well, if I remember right, Ike has a fairly regular orbit, so it shouldn't be that hard to get to. But it's also, I don't know, in rescuing the ship, if you need to, excuse me, I'm kind of burpy. If you need to, if it's a ship that's not working and you need to bring the ship back for repairs, like if that's I know there are missions where you need to return a part back to Kerbin, or if it's just you've got your crew stuck there and your science stuck there and you want to move them, get them all back to Kerbin, that's another possibility, where you would leave the actual ship there. Or if it's just you don't have enough fuel and you want to get fuel to that ship, if you have the mining and conversion options, then you can land something there that will mine and convert and then refuel with that. Only Kerbals? Yeah, and that's something I haven't done yet, so I know it's going to be challenging. Just landing there is fairly challenging. I guess parachutes work. Yeah, parachutes should work fine, right? But then getting back off the planet is that much harder. With enough fuel to get back. And I've seen Matt Lown has done some videos on getting to and from Eve, and then also I think he's done a rescue mission to Eve. I could try that. I guess it would be a learning experience. But I can't imagine doing, if you just need to pick the Kerbals up, then you could actually send a probe, as long as you have comms, uninterrupted comms, land the probe with an empty capsule for them to get in, and then you could take off with that. And if you're not going to be making fuel on the surface, then you need to have something where it will have enough fuel to land, or I guess you can rely heavily on parachutes, and then maybe separate what you don't need, so you have a smaller ship, kind of like when the lunar lander left its legs and base there, and it was just the the command module that rendezvoused back with Michael Collins. Oh wow. See, that's weird. I guess the gravity is stronger, but the atmosphere is not. So the atmosphere is not thick enough to make up for it. Huh. Yeah. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of F5, F9 when I try that. If it can be done, I mean, there's guys out there that make it look simple, but I don't have enough experience with it that I can really give you any good advice beyond. I don't even know if what the advice I've already given you is any good. Ugh, it's frustrating. I want to help, but I don't know. What is this saying? Moving so fast forward that you actually miss the ground, because up here there is no atmosphere to slow you down at this height. You will continue to free fall endlessly around the planet without having to use your engines. We are currently on a low, almost circular orbit around Kerbin. To get a better view, hit M for the map view. So that's fairly circular. This looks like it's about 20,000 meters higher. Oh no, actually the PE looks higher. So that is fairly circular. 199, 200.8. I'm not familiar with HyperEdit. I think infinite fuel, you could probably get by with just that, but oh yeah, that's something else. You could probably go into the file that lists all the. Oh, I guess it'd be the saved game. And wow, that's like I'm seeing a weird face right here, like a goblin face or something. And then edit their location to land it at Kerbin or something like that. That'd be funny. Victory. Let's see. Hold right click to move the mouse around. Blah blah blah. Hovering icons, net more information. So yeah, information there, information there, information there. M to go back. So what does he actually want us to do? Let's get practical now. I trust you already know the basics. Aircraft control or spacecraft control. Up here, very much the same, except that the lack of atmosphere makes the ship behave quite a bit differently, because there's no drag to slow you down. For every input you apply, you'll have to apply an opposite one to come to a stop again, unless you use stability assist. I didn't realize the RCS was on. How much fuel do we have? Oh, we're good there. Okay, so like if you, I shouldn't do this, but if you start to move that way and I don't have stability control on, then it's just going to keep turning. But we can turn stability control on and put it back where it was. That's about where it was anyway. Alright, I'm going to remotely nudge your attitude controls a little. Try to get the ship back under control afterwards. If you find yourself totally out of control... Oh, I lost my place. If you find yourself totally out of control, hit T to toggle the SAS. And it will automatically cancel any remaining rotations. Are you ready? Now, for the situation I think he's going to be putting us into, looking at the ship is not going to help much. If you... This is the crew hatch, so this is basically going to be the top of the ship. This will be the left or port, starboard, right, back, and front. So knowing where your crew hatch is, you can often do that, but the nav ball is typically so much better for trying to fix your attitude only life were that easy. Alright, so let's get ready. He's going to give us a nudge. Ugh. Alright. See, now keeping track of the crew hatch in this situation is pretty rough. So I'm going to try not to look at the nav ball and... Oh, wow, that is... Okay. Oh, I got a little bit there. And, oh, wait. Oh, there's the crew hatch. See, I was looking at those windows. And I got a little bit there. Oh, no. We could probably try to stop the rotation as well. Okay. I think I got the rotation just about stopped. And then, where is that crew hatch? There it is. So if I try to push forward that way, alright. And then left a little. Right a little, and there's the crew hatch. Down a little. We're still rotating, so let's cancel that rotation. Alright, we're fairly steady. If I look at it this way, alright, we're still going up a little bit and over a little bit. And Gene seems to approve. Let's try it again, and this time I'm going to use the nav ball. Whoa! Oh my, oh. Okay, that was a bad idea. Alright, so we're obviously spinning quite a bit, so we'll try to cancel out most of that spin. Alright, and then, oh, wrong way. Oh, no, down. No, not down, up. What am I doing? Oh, I'm off my home keys. Okay, so, alright. Up, over, and we're spinning. Nope, wrong. There we go. Trying to cancel out that spin. Left, up. So, if you're on your home keys, it's a little bit easier to cancel out your spin using the nav ball, in my opinion. See, program. As long as when you're looking at your ship, you need to know which way is up. Up. With the nav ball, you always know which way is up because this indicator is basically your vehicle. Alright, so we've got prograde, retrograde, radial in, radial out, basically pointing towards the planet, or pointing towards the center of the orbit, pointing away from the center of the orbit. Normal, parallel, and toward the North Pole. So, got a North and South Pole. I don't have good things to play with here. You got well, your orbiting has, well, your orbital plane has a north and a south. Assuming always that you're going eastward. No, that's not true either because it takes into account the body you're orbiting. Because, yeah, you can actually have a 180 degree, your retrograde orbit. So, normal, I believe, is what it would take to get you to go more north, or to parallel with north more, or to stay parallel with north if you're already... We're still spinning. Oh, screw that. So basically, normal could just be oversimplified as north, and then anti-normal, it could be oversimplified as south. What do they actually say? Normal and anti-normal vectors, they are perpendicular to the orbital plane. Yes. They point upwards and downwards with respect to the orbital plane respectively. Yes. Although up and down is kind of difficult with space. Okay. Try something a little more involved. Open your map again. Okay, we want to do now is go through some of the basic maneuvers you'll need to know. Let's try raising your apoapsis first. That's easy. You go to your periapsis and you burn prograde. The apoapsis is the highest point in the orbit, indicated by the node marked AP. So here, I'm going to turn that on and go to prograde. The best place to raise your apoapsis is at the periapsis, the PE node, which is the lowest point of your orbit. Excuse me. If you hover the mouse over the periapsis node, you'll see that we are going to reach it in a few minutes. Once we're there, we'll face prograde and burn. Press period to speed up time a little so we can get there. Do I actually have to do that, or can I just warp to here? Alright. Okay. Time is now passing 5 times faster than normal, at least. So we should be there in a few moments. Take control of the time warp, period, and comma keys. Comma slows down your time warp, period speeds it up. Alright. Time to burn. Turn your ship to face prograde, which I've already done. Check SIS engaged. Keep her steady. Press Z key to accelerate at full throttle. Is that what we want to do? Oh, we want to go to 800. So we can look here, or we can look here. If you have Kerbal Engineer, you can look here and here. Somewhere. Yeah, apoapsis height. Alright, 800,000, which is also 800 kilometers. Alright, coming up, getting ready to cut off at... Oh, too much. Alright, that's how you raise your apoapsis. Okay, this stuff is too easy. Now, let's see. Okay, we're on our way to the apoapsis node. Notice how your ship loses speed as we rise, as our altitude increases. That's because we're climbing away from the planet, so we lose speed as we go higher, just like a ball does when thrown into the air back on Kerbal. That's a good way to look at it, yeah. When you throw a ball up in the air, it's going its fastest as it's closest to the bottom of its arc, and as it reaches the top, it appears to almost stop. The higher you are, the slower your orbit will be. Notice how Mund's orbital period is around orbital speed is around 540 meters per second. You can see this by hovering. 542. Did it change? Okay, here we are, the same as before. Turn your ship facing prograde. Keep in mind that we're probably facing the other way right now, so prograde marker might not be visible, but you can find it easy, blah blah blah. We're facing the right direction. Alright, so we're at the apoapsis, and once you're facing the right, fire up that engine. Alright, and how high does it want us to go? Keep burning prograde until the orbit is nearly circular. Eccentricity will be 0 when it's perfectly perpendicular, so keep your eye on that. Eccentricity measures the elliptical. Your orbit is 0 means orbit is circular. Where do you even see that? I don't know that that information is available. Alright, well, we've passed the apoapsis, so I waited too long. He thinks that's circular enough. Alright, nicely done. This is how you change the size of your orbit. This maneuver should come in handy in many situations. Next, we'll look into changing orbital inclination. Do we need to do that? I think this stuff is all a little bit basic. Basically, you, I don't know. Matching the orbital inclination of something else is where it comes in common most, I think. Present nearly equatorial orbit, prograde is due east. That means to increase our inclination so that our orbit takes us into higher latitudes, we have to burn towards the normal direction. If all that I said just makes your head spin, the nav ball once again comes to the rescue. In this case, you'll need to use the normal vector to change your orbital inclination. Let's do that now. Turn to the normal vector direction and open the throttle. Alright, the easiest way to... Oh, we're already there. So he wants us to go to 10. So let's open the throttle up. And again, in the base game, I don't think there's a way... Because you can't set Kerbin as your target. So I don't know if in the base game there's a way to check your orbital inclination. Flight engineer list. Oh yeah, I mean, but this is a mod. So what I meant was, it should be right here. Yeah, inclination. So, or eccentricity. Oh, there it is. I've never really worried about that before. But it is here. But in the base game, I don't know where it is. Staging mode, docking mode, map, maneuver mode, period, periapsis, apoapsis. So yeah, I don't know where that would be in the where you could find that in the base game. Yeah. So it's one of those things. Just flight engineer is like actually having a ground crew, having a mission control that keeps track of everything and updates you. All right, it's good to know how to change your orbital inclination. I agree. If for rendezvous, well, even like when you're going to Minmus, you've got to be within like 1.5 degrees of inclination to actually get a capture, and that would be like a polar orbit. And that also if you're farther off on your inclination trying to get to Minmus, the more accurate you have to be in your timing. So matching inclinations, very important, or nearly matching. Let's see, for these maneuvers it's always better to do it in the slowest part of the orbit so you don't have to spend as much delta V to turn your orbit around. Okay. Why is that, I wonder? That also means that inclination changes on larger orbits, such as we are on now, take less fuel than the same inclination change on a lower orbit. I wonder what the difference on efficiency is. I know when I'm doing an inclination change, the closer I am to the actual ascending node, descending node, the more efficient the burn is. And so I wonder if it's the actual speed or that ability to get closer to the node when you do your burn. Kind of curious about that. I bet that was King Akira. Oh, thanks for the follow. So that's one of those things. There's probably some complicated math, or maybe even easy math that's too complicated for me, that I don't know why that is, but it seems to me that the real trick to efficient burning for inclination changes is being close to the node. The closer the better. And if you've seen my trick for getting inclinations close to zero, relative inclination close to zero, then you probably understand what I'm talking about on how it's more efficient to be closer. Let's see. Let's see. Also keep. Let's see if we can see. Also keep in mind that changing inclination doesn't necessarily mean accelerating to the north or south. It means accelerating at right angle to your prograde vector. The prograde vector, probably no better way to think of that, which on our nearly equatorial orbit also happened to be north. Next, let's look at the last essential maneuver you'll need, lowering your orbit. Well, we kind of just glossed over. We didn't really do anything with radial in, radial out, so as you can imagine, your orbit's altitude is very much like raising it, only in reverse. Because there's no air up here, we can use our engines to decelerate as well as accelerate, because the ship's orientation will not cause problems with airflow, and flying backwards is as easy as flying forward. So, let's see, also since our orbit is nearly circular, we can turn retrograde and do our burn at any time now. So let's get to it. Turn the retrograde vector and start the engine up. Yeah, we're nearly circular. Let's see. Well, if we look at the eccentricity, yeah, I guess so. 0.00884. 786 versus 811. Excuse me. All right, so we're oriented retro. I'm going with low throttle here. Keep burning retrograde until the periapsis attitude is around 20,000 meters. Alright, so let's go ahead and go full throttle. Hey, that'll take us into the atmosphere. You trying to get us killed, Gene? I wonder how our fuel is doing. Do a slow burn so we don't overdo it or underdo it. Oh, Gene approves. That's it. You're on your way back. 20,000 meters is low enough to hit the atmosphere, so you are now on a re-entry course to Kerbin. Once we're below 60,000 meters atmosphere, we'll start slowing the ship down to the point where it won't have enough velocity to rise back up again. Well, yeah, by the time we get to 20,000 meters, that's for sure. That's going to slow us down a lot. This is all we need to do for this lesson. Alright, so I don't think we need to go into the atmosphere, do we? What time is it? 8:30? I don't think we need to do any more science basics to the moon. We could do docking. I know docking was rough. Ooh, I don't remember if I did the asteroid redirect missions. I love the Marcus House asteroid redirector vehicle. You can check Marcus House on YouTube. I think he's also on Twitter. I know he's on Twitter. I think I followed him. But he has some great designs. I love it's basically a mobile fuel farm. It's a rover vehicle that you can land on the Mun or Minmus and drive it around, and then it's got a claw on it, so any ship that you have landed, you can just run into it, the claw, grab it, and you can transfer the fuel that you're mining and processing. But I remember the first time I tried this docking mission, I think it took me over an hour, and probably more than 2 tries. It's on YouTube, it's on the record. No point in me lying about how bad I am. You could see for yourself if you wanted to go dig that up. Let's see, hello, today we'll be going over a very exciting process. Making 2 separate ships attach so they can share resources. Crew will simply become a bigger ship. If you're interested in orbital lander missions or creating space stations, this will be a must. So pay attention. Let's begin. And there's my warning telling me that it's 8:30. In order to dock to another ship, the first thing you need to do is catch up to it, rendezvous with it. use the technical lingo. To accomplish that, the first thing you have to do is put your ship in a coplanar orbit, meaning an orbit with the exact same inclination. Oh, that is actually what got me interested in this game. Let's see if I can find that. King Akira was trying to tell me, oh, you should play Kerbal Space Program, because I was finishing up the Subnautica. Oh, I can't find it. Darn it. Where else would it be? It could be in downloads. No, not there. No, I just saw it the other day, but I don't remember where I saw it now. So, but there it was a picture that was showing the steps for, I think it was for rendezvousing, and is basically, match plane, get either your apoapsis or your periapsis to match up with some point on the orbit of the other thing. It's just like, wow, that looks hard. I want to do it. So, but then the last point of docking is getting your docking nodes on axis. So, not, well, this would be on axis, but trying to get them lined up on axis and going towards each other. The mating dance of the elusive rendezvous vehicle. In order to dock with another ship, first thing you have to do is catch up, rendezvous, blah blah blah. So let's look at the map. Hey, mortal. How you doing? I'm assuming this is our rendezvous target. How's things on Mixer? Let's see. My problem with Mixer is that I can't use Firefox with Mixer because the chat won't work. Just something about, I don't know if it's because it's a JavaScript or something, but I've got to use Chrome in order to use the chat on Mixer when I'm watching someone else. Usually the only one I watch nowadays is, if at all, is Eyes of Zoe. She's fun. Funny. Look at those poor guys. They're doomed to orbit Kerbin forever unless we go to their rescue, which you should do because I do this stuff all the time, so I don't know if I really need to show you via the tutorial. Good, good. I like good. You should do because our space program's reputation will go down if we leave people marooned out in space. If you play around with the camera, you'll notice the orbit of theirs don't have the same inclination. Which means that if the ships ever did pass close to each other, they would do so at dangerously high speeds and just zip past each other on different paths. In this situation, the first thing we need to do is align our orbit with that of the other ship. So, click on the ship named Stranded and set as your target. I knew that was coming. Oh, really? Yeah, I am bad in that I'm not predictable. Usually on the days that I work, which would be Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, I try to get on, and that usually means about 8:30 Central Time, and I'll stream for about an hour. The other days, and even the days that I do work, I might not get on at all. And then the days that I'm off, I might not get on at all, or I could get on in the morning, I could get on in the evening, I could go overnight. It's not fair to you. But there is Twitter, so that you get an announcement when I go live. My trip to Jewel and back was really fun. Wow, I've not been to Jewel. I have, let's see, orbited Eve, landed on Ike. The same with Duna. I've orbited Duna. I've landed on. No, Duna is Ike, and then Eve is. Am I getting this backwards? Is Gilly? Yeah, I think Eve is Gilly. Minmus, Mun, Solar Orbit, which, if you. Whatever. I've landed on Moho. I haven't gotten that crew back yet, and I don't know if it's possible. What I might be able to do is get them on a fairly high orbit, solar orbit, and then rendezvous with another craft to rescue them with fuel. But Moho was tough. I used a ship that was too big. That's part of the problem. Yeah, and I'm just... Yeah, so I've got a weird... The semi-schedule that I have is not always easy to follow. All right, so we're coming up on the AN, which means that as our orbit passes their orbit, we will be going essentially up relative to them. So in order to fix that, we want to point down so that we can burn and cause our orbit to tilt towards their orbit. Let's put these up, right click on those, make it easier to see. But what I just love is the rendezvous in Flight Engineer, and you can see your relative. Oh, it's time to go. Anti-normal. Let's see what Gene says. Good. You'll notice a few things have appeared in your orbit. Green ascending and descending node indicators show the points of the plane of your orbit crosses the plane of the orbit of your target. The white dotted lines connect the points of your own orbit to theirs. That's what it looks like. It does look like that, yes. We want to have your orbit coincide with that of the target. So let's start that job at one point where your paths already cross. Go ahead and add a maneuver node. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I probably should do that. Let's just do what Gene tells us. What I would normally do here is, as I'm approaching the node, in this case the AN, I would orient anti-normal, and then as I'm approaching, there'll be a countdown here for time to relative ascending node, and there'll be the relative inclination, and I will throttle up until the countdown slows to where it's like 1/10 of a second per second. So enough so that you can visibly see that the countdown is slowing. And then, because you want it to continue to go down, if it doesn't continue to go down, then you're not getting closer to it and it's moving away from you, which is reducing your efficiency and reducing your ability to get to absolute zero on the relative inclination. And then as you're approaching, you will find that the closer you get to the relative ascending node or descending node, that the same amount of burn affects that countdown. So if you have a slow countdown, but you're getting closer, as you get closer, the countdown will get slower and slower and slower, stop, and then start to rise, because your efficiency as you approach it is getting better. And so you'll have to throttle down and try to throttle down to match so that it's still counting down, but not counting down at the normal speed. And by doing that and getting that balance, and a lot of the time you have to, I can't map mode or unmap mode here, you have to use the thrust limiter on your engine, reduce that a lot so you can get very accurate burns. Let's see, I wish I could send you a pic of my ship. You can! I'm gonna... do you have Discord? Or Twitter? You can send them to me on there. Just post them and then at me. Or if you have a Instagram, you can put your Instagram account name up here. We could do that in chat. you can't see where I'm pointing with my cursor, but I'm pointing at the chat box. So that's the way I would normally do it. But Gene wants us to set up a maneuver node, so I'm going to do what Gene wants because it's his birthday. Yeah, let's just pretend it's his birthday. Which reminds me, there's a game. Let me go into escape here. Where is it? Store. Featured. And then wish list. Can I maximize this? Yeah, let's do that. Let me bring this display up again. Where is it? It's Birthday's the Beginning is 70% off. Normally $40, $11.99. There's some similarities to Minecraft in that you're doing some world building, and it's blocky. And then there's also some similarities to Spore, and it seems really interesting. And Wolfgang wants it, and he showed it to me, and I think it's interesting enough, and I think it'd probably be good for kids too, as far as semi-educational, learning to understand complicated systems. So if that price is still $12.99 by the time I get paid, I may get that. I just may. Life is complicated, things are expensive, and there's a lot to take care of. But I would like to do that. Let's see, how would I send you a picture of my ship? I'd love for you to see it. Well, let me send you a Discord invite. Let's see, server info. Nicholas set this all up for us, and I love him for it. Let's see. There's this invite link should still work. I'll put that in the chat. It's also at the end of my video. When I turn my camera off, I've got it set up so that it flashes up the Discord invite. So, but it should be in chat now. Let me come over to Chrome, verify. It's complicated. Complicated. Test. It does not look like it went there. Oh, that's not the right thing. Click here, click here. That's old. It does not show the live chat. There we go. There we go. That should, yeah, that should be in the Mixer chat now. That looks good. Also, you can send it on Twitter. That's another option. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do these things. And I've got it set up so that if you tried to link it... What? Hey, I wonder if you could watch or sub to my channel. It's How to Avoid Life Epic. That sounds familiar. Oh, no, it's reminded of a BBC TV series. Let's How to Avoid Life. Okay, I'm going to show that. I just noticed that it was showing up. Oh, Nelson. Okay, yeah, I can do that for you. Absolutely. Am I subbed to your channel? Let me go to your channel. Oh, it says your channel doesn't have any content. So do you post your content on a different channel? This game isn't popular, such as GTA. Yeah. I was actually a little surprised that I did that one stream of, well, I did two now, but I did that one stream of World of Tanks, which is like an 8-year-old game. And it was more popular than anything I've, by a lot, than I've posted in a long time. So I did another one, which wasn't as popular, but that's fine. If there's a demand for it, I hate to, leave that vacuum there. We were going to, we covered everything. You were going to send me a thing. Okay. How can I get subscriber role? That's not the right thing. General. Yeah. So Twitter is probably the easiest. Discord should work. If you have an Instagram, just let me know the account name. You could share it on Steam, but then I need to know what to look for. All right, so I'm going to set up the maneuver node here at the descending node, and again, getting it right at the descending node increases your efficiency and your ability to get to absolute zero. Which, if you do it standard burn way, where you burn half before and half after, so you start so you take your burn time and then divide that by 2 and then use that as T minus before the node to start your burn, then it's not going to work as well, because you're going to be approaching, and you're going to get maximum efficiency halfway through your burn, and then you're going to keep burning out the other side, and you're not going to be able to get to absolute zero, because you can only do that, I think you can only do that at the actual node. I should experiment with that. Yeah, let's do it now. Let's go here. Oh, I would have to turn on infinite fuel to do that. So maybe some other time, because I can't remember how to turn on infinite fuel. So add a maneuver here. This will be the descending node. So we will want to add normal. And then you can line things up and, just to eyeball it and see when you're close. Or you could look at the numbers. Ah, there you are. He looks like Mortal Diablo joined the Discord. Boop, 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 boop. If it's not too offensive, I might even share it on the stream. And there you are. It looks like it automatically made you a member, which is good. Okay, the bot probably did that. Oh, man. Yeah. Thanks again to Nicholas Sheed for putting that bot in there. Virulent Gaming actually got me started on Discord. He set everything up for me, and then Nicholas Sheed came along and volunteered to make it better. And to his credit, he definitely did. And I think Virulent Ryan has learned a lot from him, and I think that's great. Let's see. I'm looking. We do have an actual pics and memes and a link sharing, and then, but general would work as well. Oh, and you're on. Looks like you're on your phone, so it might be a little more difficult for you. I'll concentrate on this for a minute. So we can see that we've got it pretty well matched up, and then if we look at the actual numbers, we've got 0.2, and over here it was negative 0.2. So we can try to increase that a little bit more and see if this number gets smaller or larger. And I can tell that it's getting smaller because the line for the descending and ascending node where they extend out is moving. Since we started at the descending node, it should stay in the same place unless it's getting closer to 0. And then as it approaches 0, it'll probably move to a right angle from where it started. So it started here, so absolute 0 should be close to here. So let's add a little bit more normal. And it still says +1. Let's use this thing right here. So, it says +1. So do I need to decrease? Oh, let's reduce the sensitivity. I think this sensitivity reduction should go even lower. Oh, I need to add. So I'll decrease the anti-normal. Alright, there we go. So as it moves around, okay, slow down. Because here it's going to be more sensitive. There's 0.1, and it does not quite reach 0.0, which suggests that I'm not starting at the actual... I'm not starting right at the descending node like I had intended. I'm connected and will need permission. Really? I don't know what role you would need. If you go to... because it shows that you're a member. If you go into the pics and memes, I'm hoping that that'll work, because I didn't think that this needed a permission once you were a member. I don't know what that was. And I just moved you to subscribers. So that gets us pretty close. If we start over... yeah. Oh, what I could have done... yeah, that's what I should have done. Is use the thing to... Oop, that's the wrong way. Because it's the descending node. Or... yeah, it's the descending node, so that should have been right. I just overdid it. There we go. That's very close. Okay, I'll try it now. Ascending. Get in here. Oh, let's use this thing again. So ascending, descending. So we should be able to increase this a little bit more. There we go. Oh, there it went. So we must have been... there we go. And oh, wow, very sensitive. It does not take much to get that to swing all the way. But if you can get it to that halfway point, it's already at 0, 0. But if you can get it to that halfway point, then it'll be... you're maximizing or minimizing the relative inclination. Ah, there we go. I guess maximizing would be 180 degrees. And we're going for 0. Ah, I clicked the wrong thing there. What do we got there? It says permissions. Where are you trying to post it in? Are you trying to post it in general or pics and memes? Because let's see if I do that. Permissions, let's see, edit channel, general, slow mode, permissions. Read messages. Huh, yeah, I don't even understand most of these permissions. General. Try switching to pics and memes, because that is absolutely what that is intended for. Yeah, here you can share pictures for everyone to see. And subscribers. Embed, attach file. Okay, yeah, so you should be able to do that. Now, did you subscribe? Because Nicholas would be mad at me if I gave you the subscriber permission without... Oh, you disappeared. Oh, because you went to... Oh, you're still in general. Hello from Turkey. Or to Turkey. Oh, man. I feel like I'm neglecting the game, but as always, I need to remind myself I would much rather have a conversation than play the game. There's plenty of times when I play games without an audience. There's okay, so I see it lit up. Wow, that is a lot of stuff. Can I maximize that? It's a link. How can I? Should be a way to maximize it. It's just showing. Oh, I can do this. So it's a little grainy. Let's bring that up over here. So, yeah, you've got room for the crew. Oops. Crew. I can't tell. It looks like you might have some science on there. Oh, wow. Lights. Is that parachutes? Is fuel lines. It definitely looks like you're trying to get somewhere. And I'm not sure what's going on up here. I guess that's just extra fuel. Yeah, I'd put some nose cones on these if you can. Are these capsules? It looks like you put capsules on there to use as nose cones, which would be more heavier than nose cones. That's pretty cool. I think I missed my, I missed my flight. Let's go around again. Oh, well, it doesn't want to do that. Let's try to do it the hard way. I tend to overshoot when I do this. Pretty close. That's weird. Target radial out. It should be. Oh, that's right. Screw this. Get rid of that. If it'll let me. It won't let me. There we go. So let's just orient. This is descending node. Let's orient normal. Don't let yourself get frustrated. So even without looking at this, I can tell that I'm getting closer. The inclination is going down. Worst case scenario, once it looks like it's, yeah, it's moving away from me now. So then in that case, I would go back to max throttle. I would reduce throttle until it's not moving away from me. Trying to figure out how I would do this without the Kerbal Engineer mod. Okay, see, it's moving away from me even though I keep the throttle constant. Oh man, this is cool. So you don't really need Kerbal Engineer Redux to do this, but it is beneficial. And I don't think that... Oh, there it goes. Oh, so now it's too far. So let's flip over. Now we'll get in here and we'll limit this down to about 20%. And then if we go until these lines are roughly at our horizontal, they should be pretty close to zero. I'm gonna, yeah, that's pretty close to horizontal. So now our relative inclination is 0.00827. So that's pretty good. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I hate when I do that. It's the best way to waste fuel, though. You know, if you're looking to waste fuel, that's how you do it. Oh, my alarm's going off, so it must be 9 o'clock. it's going up again. Going to have to log in and get a shot. Oh, that's all right. Well, now that you have Discord, it'd be cool if you could do it now, but no pressure. Kind of reminds me of a little bit of the one I was trying to show Wolfgang, how you could get into orbit. Let's go take a look at that. This is getting boring. Does anyone really want to see this orbital maneuver? I've done so many rescue missions. Not too many docking. Usually I use the claw or just an EVA walk for rescues. The claw if I need to return the part, and okay, and EVA walk. Yeah, sometimes I'll use the claw too, because you get more money if you return the part. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. In scenario, and then since the theme we started with was getting into orbit, I don't remember which save I did it on. I think, oh, I thought that was gonna crash. I think I did it on my breaking ground save. I hope that's in there. I could spend all day looking for vehicles. Right, VAB. Ooh. Cool jazz, baby. We don't have our science and achievement levels here. That's all right. Should have looked at them while I was out there. Rescue 51, Expo. Kerbal. Now all of these are saying unknown parts modules because I had CNC communication constellation when I built the parts. Let's see, Kalenia Lab 1, low tier orbiter. That's got to be it. Yeah, it should work fine. It just... So, oh man, how did I do this? So, we've got 6 solid rocket around the outside, around the outside, around the outside, and then a central solid rocket. And I think they all... Okay, that one's thrust limiter 45. These ones are also thrust limiter 45. So that was probably trial and error. Because I didn't want to over accelerate. Then we got a stage separation, which lets loose everything below this point, and I tried to get these lined up so that since I couldn't put a nose cone on these, that way we wouldn't have any kind of collisions at separation. Then I think we've got the same thing up here. I don't remember if I thrust limited. I thrust limited them even more, down to 21%. So these are 45. So that way, I've got enough fuel. I'm burning. I've got enough delta V, but I'm spreading it out over time by using the thrust limiter, so that I get higher in the atmosphere. And I don't get that atmospheric friction that 1 will slow me down and 2 will potentially cause explosive heat. And then the same thing up here, and we're farther out of the atmosphere. And then up here we've got a swivel so that we can use the gimbal on it. Liquid fuel, and these are... The idea was I wanted to use low tier parts, and I think these nose cones are tier 3. But everything else is 2 and below, which is why there's 3 of these tanks instead of 1 bigger one. Separation, and yeah. So this, you can actually get into orbit with this very low tier stuff. Also, you need to be able to turn your engine off and on for your, to actually achieve orbit, and then do a retro burn so that you can come back down into the atmosphere. Do we have a pilot that just Yeah, Leo here doesn't have any experience. I think I must have gotten him out of the training program. So let's see what we can do with this one. That's how I got to Jewel and back, but I did launch from the Mun. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's something else I haven't done either. I've only launched from the Space Center. What mod lets you launch from elsewhere? Oh, we're going to do it in the dark. And let's see, we don't have a throttle option, so I'll just leave the throttle off. SAS. And... So it does not take off like a rocket, if you follow the metaphor. We're still only going 20 meters per second. I'll wait till we get a little bit faster. There's 50. Alright, I'm going to give us a little bit of a turn. See, it's trying to twist. And there's no gimbaling, so all the turning is via the reaction control wheel, which I believe is in the capsule, because I don't think I added one. Stage and fire. So we're going a little too far north here. I wonder what that's about. Probably just drag. The glory pack? We are going really far north, or south. We're going south. So this is not going to get us into orbit. We've got a pretty good trajectory in the wrong direction. If this were going east rather than south, this would probably get us a good orbit. Alright, so this is going to have a longer burn time because of the thrust limiter. Who was that? Oh, King Akira's hosting. Cool. Alright, so we're tipped over almost horizontal, but we're only up to 20,000 meters. So I might have tipped a little early. But also we don't have that planetary rotation assisting our forward velocity. Why is this one glowing? I don't know. Picking up some heat? Yeah, we're too low. So I probably started my turn too soon. The velocity is pretty decent. Yeah, this is gonna get ugly. I'm good. Uh-oh. Shocking news. More shocking than you're emphasizing Twitch over YouTube? We're just coasting at this point. The solid rockets have burned out. We're still going up, but not for long. Banned from streaming on YouTube, no. And I know why, and I don't know if I mentioned it before. I think I didn't want to mention it while you were on the air. If you have that affiliate or partnership or whatever it's called, where you can actually have members and you can take payments through YouTube, and you don't give them primary access, so you can post, you have to post there first, or if you're steering people to another platform, then they do not take kindly to that at all. This is kind of fun, just watching this blaze through the sky. Are we slow? We're not even slowing down, we're speeding up. Oh man. What's the heat on here? I'm just having fun at this point. The heat's getting a little warm. 66 at 70 something we should. I can't remember if it's 70 or 80 we should start getting a heat warning. The critical part is the command pod. Yeah, it's facing the wrong way. If Lugar here can turn it to retro... Oh, we're starting to get overheat on the parachute. We're going to need that parachute when it comes right down to it. If we separate, that might help. And then I can fire the rocket, actually. Wow, do you see that? That overheat was almost maximized. This isn't what I was planning to do, but, you know, if it works, right? And then we could just splash down with the parachute. I don't think the parachute will hold the weight of these, of the fuel and the engine. It's our altitude, 10,000. Oh, well, life happens. I'm not going to hold that against you. It's good to know, though. Oh, we're almost zeroed out. I definitely don't have enough fuel to land. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Whew. I saw that horizon coming up. I thought I waited too long. So, this is fine. It's not the mission that we wanted. Let's try it again. Because I have gotten this into orbit before. Because you just got here. So I was trying to show Wolfgang that you could use low tier parts. Did I not strut this? I don't know. Oh, cool. Let me see before we get started. Let me pause this. And get out of there. Uh-oh. Where'd you load them? I don't see them. Or it. Oh, uploading. Okay. So in progress, and you're on your phone, so it might be a little slower. Oh, King Akira. Have you heard of Birthdays the Beginning? Let me bring that back up again. Boop doop boop doop boop boo. On Steam. It looks fairly interesting. It's a little bit like I can't remember that really old, was it Sim Earth or something like that? So it's got like some Minecraft elements, some Spore elements, and it just seems really interesting. And the creator, oh, they're not on here anymore. I had a bunch of videos on here explain. Maybe they're on YouTube. Oh, there he is, trying to explain, you know, what he was trying to accomplish with the game, and it's in Japanese. I'm assuming the translation is good, but I don't know. Let's see. Did I get that right? Yeah, that's still up there. See, okay. Going to get ready. Earth Days? No. Send that info over, please. Okay, Xbox watching you on my. Oh, okay. Well, did that post yet? Well, it's still not showing up on Discord. So let me try to get back to this ship. I'm gotta wrap it up here in about 15 minutes. So let's see if we can get this flying. Yeah. I'm gonna forget, but I intend to do that. Probably the easiest way to do it is, I don't even know how to link stuff. Oh, there it is. There's the link. Except I can't do. Oh, there we go. Oh, almost. Yeah, got that. Control C. Discord. Friends. Why is that? Why did I send you a picture of me? Oh, it's because I wanted to show you that I think it was the somersault. All right, back to the game. Resume flight. So stability on, launch. So this time I'll try to get it up over 100 before I start trying to tilt. There's 22 meters per second. And again, these are thrust limited. Oh, it doesn't show the thrust because you can't change it in flight. These are thrust limited to about 45%, and these are thrust limited to about 20%. There's 70 meters per second, 80, 90, 100. Let's see if I can get it to tilt a little bit. I wonder if I could just leave it on prograde. Let's try that. It looks like it's actually trying to go west. Yeah, it's trying to go west. There's gold in them thar hills. So this isn't going to work either. If we don't get that eastern direction, it's just not going to work. Yeah, retrograde orbit, I can almost guarantee is not going to work. Yeah, if south didn't work, retrograde's going to be even worse. So let's revert to launch. Oh, there it is. Oh, man, that's going to be hard to share. Open original. That is huge. Let's see if I can do this. And this was your Eve mission? It's not going to show up very well, but I'm going to put it up here anyway. Oh. Let's try that again. Tilt. Oh, and our friend Kiefer, I think he watches your show too, from the Philippines. He was streaming Detroit Become Human this morning. He's doing all right. That's a weird configuration. Almost looks like a swastika. You should post some pictures of your mission progress. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to come down on you. Thank you for sharing. It looks complicated. Okay, it's going too far north this time. Oh, I didn't turn SAS on. Dingbat. Dingusbat. I swear I've gotten this ship into orbit before. Jewel and back from Mun. Mission on Mixer history. Oh. Okay. If I click on your name, follow, that should help me find that later. I think I might be able to watch that on my phone at work tonight, or at least some of it. All right, SAS. Launch. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's too much. That's too much. Okay, this should work. This should work. Keep stability control. Oh no, it's tilting too much. Tilted too much too soon, but at least it's going the right direction, right? We've got to feel good about that. Okay, this isn't going to end well. We need to save Valentina! Or Lugar, whatever her name is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ugh! Oh no! Oh! Oh. Whew. Oh, is there something wrong with me that I thought that was funny? You can still see the ship down there. Oh no, that's a smudge on my screen. Oh. Okay. Can I revert? Let's try that again. Oh. What about dividends? All right, SAS, launch. If the engines had continued burning pretty much any longer, that would not have been survivable. All right, here comes 70. I'm gonna try a tilt. It's fighting me. Come on, baby. Alright, we're almost out of fuel. I'm gonna go to prograde. Okay, this might work. This might work. We're a little far north. Oh, south. We're a little far south. See if I can correct that. I don't want to waste too much fuel on trying to correct, but at the same time... Yeah, I'm just messing things up. Well, let's stay on prograde. I think we're east enough that this will work. What's that fake thing that people say astronauts do? The triple cross or whatever? They don't do that. Yeah, we're way off course. I'm not sure why it's going so far south. It's not much to do. It's, you know, solid rocket. We're halfway through this stage and we're at 45 degrees. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Confidence is above average. Squeaky drawer. I should take that off. I don't use it for anything. It's supposed to be a keyboard tray, but man, I'm having I tried to get this Bluetooth dongle to work, but it does not like me. I think I might actually have a Windows 10 install problem, or it could even be my Microsoft Office 2003. Okay, we're gonna get to 70. There's Apple Apsis is above 70. We can't cut the engines. We got a pretty good trajectory. Yeah, this is looking sweet. Alright, so let's get rid of this. And with an apoapsis of 90, I think we'll just coast to the envelope of the atmosphere. Let's see, I could do it from Kerbal, but those are massive to get. Yeah, that was a lot. All right, let's start firing up the engine and tilting towards the horizon. Oh, I'm still on prograde. Yeah, so I don't think anyone doubts at this point that this vehicle can get into orbit. Doing a slow burn because time to apoapsis is still almost 2 minutes, and we want that to get lower for efficiency's sake. But if we burn towards the horizon at a very low throttle, that's not going to hurt anything. We're already above 400 or negative 400 on the periapsis, so we're looking sweet. And I think King Akira said that he was going to be starting his stream up here pretty soon. So I'm going to be ending mine, and I think I'm hosting him already. So if you're on Twitch, it should automatically go to his channel. I don't know if anyone's watching on Twitch right now. Do people on Twitch even watch Kerbal Space Program? I don't know. I've watched Hanyu Hime on there. That was forever ago. Oh, looks like we do have a viewer. Either that or it's me. I think control... Oh! What was that? I am so mad at my restream. Control F12 or Alt F12? Oh, for the... Hey, Metallic! Hello! For the... Oh, look at this. This is... It's way up there. And we're at 3 minutes, so... Yeah. We still have half a tank of fuel. So let's just skip to the apoapsis. Yeah, I like, there's a few people I like Co-Carnage. Oops, let's get this to prograde. I watch Co-Carnage because I feel like I learned how to be a better streamer by watching him. He does a lot of things that are really good for audience appreciation. There we go, positive periapsis and stable orbit. Yay! And I think we still have half a tank of fuel. Oh, quarter. But if from the apoapsis we retro burn, we can definitely get back into land. Which we should pretty much do it from right here. Get that periapsis down. First, let's have her do a crew report. Crew report. Crew report. Dance to the music. I don't think that's how that goes. Have her do a EVA report. And remove helmet. No, don't remove helmet. Board. Alright, and then continue to reduce that periapsis down to about 20. Stupid bugs. There we go, 19. And then let's just go ahead and stage. Alright. And she's on her way home. And what is her time to periapsis? Is 14 minutes. I don't want to wait that long. Do you want to wait that long? Whoa, that's a lot of planet. Alright, we're in the atmosphere. Let's turn to retro. Although I think it would self-correct. We'll put her in a spin and see if the atmospheric resistance straightens her out. I think it will. Well, we're already down to 65. She doesn't seem to be slowing down. Once she gets to 58, it's going to start getting warm. I can't hold her. She's breaking up. She's breaking up. Oh, okay. That is the cheats. Milos was suggesting Control Alt F12 to activate cheats. Alright, I think it looks like it's a little bit redder than it was earlier. And it does not seem to be slowing down on its rotation. I would be peeing my pants right now if I were her. I guess I'd be peeing her pants if I were her. I'm not her, so I'm not going to pee her pants. Let's just make that clear. I don't want to get me too'd. It is slowing down. I believe the rotation is slowing down. Cool. That's better than me, bro. I think Moho is the hardest thing I've done, and I haven't completed it. And even my landing, I broke 2 parts. I broke a landing gear. I think I broke 2 pieces of landing gear. I can't remember now. I posted pictures of it. But just the natural shape of this should autocorrect it, because that is the way it was designed. "7 a.m. Eastern." Okay, so that'll be 8 a.m. my time. So that's right when I'm getting off work, so I might be able to catch some of that. I was able to watch Kiefer last night because it was pretty dull and things just went right, and I ate before I got to work, so I had some free time and some free hands, so I was able to watch Kiefer for probably over an hour last night. Well, that's... yeah, everyone has their strengths. There's a lot about this game that King Akira does better than I do. And then, so when he's like, "Oh, I love it when you do that," or "How do you do that?" It's just like, you know, there's some pride or vanity, I don't know what to call it, over being able to do... What time is it? 9:32. I need to wrap it up. So I don't know, the respect of your peers, the respect of someone you respect, that's always fun. Birthday's the beginning. Yeah. And of course I would be streaming some of that too. I got some subscriptions during my World of Tanks streams. I don't think that's a carryover audience. Birthday's the beginning. I mean, even this game is so different. Alright, I think we know what's going to happen here. I'm going to get my shoes on so I can get to work. Whoa! Alright, well, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Let's see. I'm good to getting other planets and back, but landing is sketchy. Oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of a balancing, juggling act, and monitoring your speed and using the surface. Yeah, clicking this to surface and retrograde is really beneficial. But I think you've probably seen me do some antics on the Mun and Minmus where I'm inadvertently doing flips and things. There's a lot to pay attention to, and it's a balancing act. You can see the light coming through the green screen. It's my halo. Why isn't that open yet? Oh, because we're still 1,000 feet up. Meters. Alright, so aside from the nose cones, that was a tier 1 and 2 vehicle, and we got it into orbit. Should I share the craft file? It's a stupid machine. It's not really something to be, let's see, where would I put that? I can put it on Discord. Nobody wants that. All right, if you want it, hit me on Discord, and then I'll post it in the, I don't know what I'll post it in, probably link sharing. What? What? Oh, we're still falling. Yeah, it'd be nice to be that, because I'm kind of curious what you're doing, and then also, oh, what is that over there? Where are we? I don't know where we are, but there is a radio tower or something over there. Huh. There's the space, no, yeah, we're on the far side of the planet from the space center. So there's just a communication tower on this island, and I can't zoom out far enough to get it in frame, I don't think. Oh, there it is. It looks like that's all it is. It's a floating SATCOM base station, and we are splashed down. Huh, interesting. All right, well, oh, that didn't work. I was hoping that she could climb up to the top. She looks so serious. All right. Well, till next time, if you have any suggestions for what we can do on the breaking ground, I'll probably, I don't know, I guess I need to build a rover so I can do a better job of getting around on the Mun and Minmus, to use those arms for investigating surface features. I don't really know what to do next. Some of the robotic stuff is really complicated. Jet Quasar has a couple videos out where he's done some interesting things. I was showing one to Wolfgang earlier. He was just wowed. So, I don't know. We'll see. Till next time, it's always more fun when you're here, so hope to see you then. I gotta go to work. Bye.